Hello. Today, as you turn 90 years old, first of all, I thank God the Almighty for giving you these most blessed years. As I recall, many years ago, maybe around 60 years ago, I have met this man, a very gentleman, intelligent, and a good-mannered person. And as I recall too, through the story of your life to me, that you were raised by a single parent, your mother, because you lost your father when you were only about 8 years old. And then through the years, you struggled to study, and after graduating from elementary school, you went to high school from Santa Rita to Bacolor, which is the Pampanga Trade School. Because your mother was the sole breadwinner, you were deprived of the luxury of having your own transportation or taking the public transportation from your residence to Pampanga Trade School. And as a result, you walk 7 miles one way each day to attend school. And after graduating high school, you also mentioned to me that you took the civil service examination, and as intelligent as you were able to pass the exams. And that civil service examination, you were able to get a job during the day and study during the night. And you joined, rather, the Department of Chemical Engineer. And after graduating, you took the board exams, which you passed too. And then later, we got married. When we had our firstborn, 1962, you were sent to Japan for a scholarship by the Forest Products Research Institute. And during those days, during those 6 months, you were writing me love letters, like we were still not married yet. Those letters were full of love, and I treasure them. And I never threw them away. And then in 1965, I believe, you were sent again to India through scholarship to learn more of the pulp and paper process. Oh, by the way, I know your forte is the development of pulp and paper. Again, when you were in India, every week I received a letter, a love letter from you, full of love. And that was a year of absence. You were in India. And then, 2 years after, you were sent again to Sweden, again for a scholarship, and sending me those love letters again. By the way, those love letters, I still have them in a box, and I kept them. Because sometimes I open and read them over and over. And then after that, you were sent again to Switzerland to attend a meeting. And from Switzerland, you you toured the United States of America when I was already here. And going back to the Philippines, I remember you invented a machine that processes abaca to pulp and paper. And that invention, you were awarded the Presidential Award, awarded by President Marcos, and with some money reward. And I remember you sent that money over to me to buy a car, and that was my first car in the United States. And your invention was also mentioned by Valencia, Tudor Valencia, on that over a cup of coffee, I guess. That's the name of the column on the Manila Times. Through the years in our marriage, you have shown nothing but love, patience to me and to our children. You were so soft-spoken person. I have never seen you get upset. I have never seen you get mad. And I have always admired your sense of humor and your wit. Through the years, our love is measured by our accomplishments, rearing our children, sending them to college, and giving them the good example of a family man. That is why our children, especially Ben and Chris, and Dennis, have their own family. And they gave us beautiful grandchildren. And the essence of education and the family value is still ingrained in their minds. We had rough times, like a roller coaster sometimes, but because of our love to each other, we were able to weather that together. And I pray to God to give you years to come, a healthy more years to come, so that we can always be together. And my closing remarks to you is, I love you. Happy birthday. I love you more each coming day. And lastly, I love you so much. And may God bless you more good life.
On your 90th birthday, Mai asked me to say a few things about our fondest memories, what we consider to be your greatest legacy, and our wishes for your birthday. For as long as I have lived, I will always remember you very fondly for all of the things that you did for us when we were growing up. Among the things that really strikes me as the most memorable was when you went to India. That's actually my first memory of you. When we all went to the airport, when I was 3 years old, and you rode the jet all the way and went to India and stayed there for a year. So for the whole year that you were there, we would all say goodbye to all of the planes that we ever saw flying, all three of us at that time. And it was fun. And we had no knowledge really that, we had no concept that you were gone thousands and thousands of miles away, but somehow, just by saying goodbye to those planes, it was like we always thought about you. And that was a very good feeling. And as later when you came back, when we were growing up, I remember distinctly that we always looked forward to what we called your OB days. That was when you were on official business, because instead of going to Laguna every day to work, what you would do would be, you'd be working in Manila, and then you'd sneak out in the afternoon and take us to Luneta. And, we would ride pop cars and go to the ice cream shop and literally have a day of it. And that was always a treat that we looked forward to, because it was something that made us spend time with you and have a good time. And you were always all in for a good time. So thank you very much for those memories. Later on, when you went to Sweden, one of the things that I asked you, because I'm a very demanding person, was for you to send me a postcard in every city that you went, because you decided that you were going to make a trip around the world of it, from Manila all the way to Europe. And so I remember that you sent us postcards from every city that you went. You told us about how fantastic Beirut was before the war, how Egypt was, Hong Kong, and all of those other cities in Europe. And I remember that when you were in Sweden, you would send us letters weekly, which somehow, even if you were not with us, made us remember that, you thought about us. And in later years, that's something that I treasure and I value. One of the things that I really remember was makulit ako eh. When we were children, when we were not fighting in the car while you were driving, what we would usually do would be to ask you questions all the way from the place that we started to our destination. We would fill you with questions, and somehow you managed to come up with answers that, seemed logical at that time, and they were probably right. And you encouraged in us love for learning, which we have all carried on. And you showed us that hard work and perseverance and education are very important. Finally, when you were in San Francisco, I remember that when I used to go to work and you would wake me up, I was a very hard person to wake up. You, instead of just saying, "Oh, gising na," what you would do would be you would pepper me with questions while I was asleep, and then I'd answer you until I woke up. And if I decided that I really didn't want to wake up, you would bring the cat down, our 20-pound cat Anthony, and you tell him to attack me. And then he'd jump all over me and, start purring on my chest until I woke up. And so I had no choice but to get up. But your patience in waking me up is well appreciated. I think that your best legacy for us are three different things. The first is the love of family. You were a devoted son as much as you were a devoted husband and a devoted father. I remember distinctly your love for your mom and your siblings, both Auntie Siling and Uncle Piping. And from your example, you showed us how important family is. You also taught us by example the love of learning. For somebody who was orphaned at an early age, you strived not only to overcome your very modest beginnings. You went to college, you became an international traveler, you were a scientist, you were an inventor, and even if you worked for the government, you were not corrupt. So that is something that we value because you showed us by your example that integrity is a very important part of a man's life. And finally, you taught us to take things easy. Your gentle disposition, which we're not really able to emulate that much, has showed us that the key to a long life is being able to let it in one ear and let it go out another without having to sweat the small stuff. The big stuff you have to sweat over, but the small stuff you just let it go. I think that's the secret to your long life, and I hope that you're able to have a healthy and even longer life, and we love you all. Happy birthday, Tay.
Hi, Ty. I have a lot of fun memories with you when I was growing up. I remember when I was maybe about 10 or 11 years old, I asked you if I could get a BB gun, and without hesitating, you said yes. And the next day, I believe we went to Divisoria to buy one. I still vividly remember you teaching me how to handle that BB gun, how to shoot it. You being in the military back then with the United States Army, you showed me some of the tips that you would use as a marksman. And even to this day, I still use those same techniques as when I shoot a rifle. Another fun memory that I have is when I started driving a car in the Philippines during my freshman year in high school. That's a very early age to be driving in the Philippines. However, you allowed me to do so. I remember a time going home and I got involved in a fender bender that totally wrecked one side of the car. And I was very worried because in my thoughts that you would yell at me for wrecking the car. But instead, when you saw the car wrecked, you basically just told me that it was okay, that you were going to fix it and not to worry about it. And you also told me not to be scared about driving. That actually gave me a confidence in driving and not be afraid when I drive. And that's really something I really appreciated, that you did not yell at me or give me a lecture or even suspended me driving, because truly that's something that really affected me as I grew older, especially when I have a situation where I might be a fender bender and I'm not, I don't lose my confidence or cool when I'm on one, and that's because of that experience. I remember growing up, you would be working on your desk and I would approach you for one reason or another. And I know that, although I know that you are busy, you never once let me feel that I was bothering you. And that is a legacy that you have imparted to me, which I have applied to my own daughter now that I'm a father myself. I see myself whenever I'm working from home, that I see myself even though regardless of how busy I may get, when Ellie comes over to me, sits on my lap or on my desk, I always remember the time when I did the same thing with you. You never ever made me feel that I was bothering you. And that's something that is a legacy that you've imparted to me, as well as one of the fondest memories I have with you growing up. My prayer for your birthday, Tai, is that may God continue to bestow upon you a life full of love, of family and friends, and may He always protect you. I love you, Tai. Happy birthday.
My fondest memory of Tai is when he used to take us to Luneta Park when we were living in San Juan. I was probably 4 years old back then. So he would take my brothers Ben, Dennis, and I to Luneta and ride the pop cars for 5 pesos an hour. So we would be going around the special tracks for an hour or so and have a great time. He'd pack us lunch and water, and we'd spend a great time at Luneta Park. His greatest legacy to me are his childhood stories. From the time he walked 10 kilometers to go to grade school, to the time that he had to sell ice drop to support himself, and also the time when they lived in a one-bedroom partition in Manila because they were so poor. At one time, he only had 2 sets of uniforms to wear. Those stories are very precious to me, especially now, because they remind me how difficult life can get. Here I am living a comfortable life and having a great family, but his stories are what keep things in perspective. Tai, happy birthday, and hope you have continued great health to come. I just want to let you know that I love you very much and that I appreciate everything that you've done for me, for Sophia, and for Sonia. And I just wanted to let you know that all the people that you've helped throughout the years really appreciate that you've been there for them. You're one of the kindest people I've ever known in my life. I love you, Tai. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I know you're having a good time right now. I wish I were there to celebrate this very joyous occasion with you, but unfortunately, I can't. So this video will have to do for now. Please take good care of yourself. Uh, don't be so hard-headed. I love you very much. I miss you. Once again, happy birthday, Tatay.
Hi Tai, happy 90th birthday. I just want to say thank you for all the love and support that you have given me throughout the years. They make me feel so well loved. Thank you for sharing your wonderful childhood stories with me, and I will treasure them forever. Lastly, Tai, thank you for raising a wonderful son like Chris, for being a good example to him. You will always have a special place in my heart, Tai, and I love you very much. Happy birthday.
Hi, Tai. In the 5 years that I've been part of the family, I have come to know you mostly through the many colorful stories of your past that you like sharing with the family over a meal. More than being entertaining, your stories have given me insight into what you're proudest of or what you value most. While you could have told about your long and successful career that took you to several countries and earned you a national award, you didn't. I learned those things about you from Nai. You could have also told about the admirable way that you had provided for your family all those years. But again, you didn't. It was Nai who told me about the beautiful house that you had built for her, and it was Ben who told me about the many expensive toys that he and his brothers enjoyed from you while they were growing up. No, I've noticed that your stories whether from your years as a soldier during the American regime or from your years as a government official in the Philippines, have been about one thing: standing up for what is right and honorable, often at the cost of losing your hard-earned job. Especially those times when you fearlessly stood your ground against corrupt persons in authority, those have been the stuff of your stories that still make your eyes light up in the telling. Thank you for those precious stories, Ty. Thank you for a lifetime of integrity that is now part of your wonderful legacy to us, your children and grandchildren. Because of you, I am happily married to a man who has a very strong sense of right and wrong. Ben and I will make sure Ellie grows up knowing those stories about you and appreciating the honorable name her grandfather has labored to pass on to her.
Hi, Sophia. Have you anything to say to Lola?
I love you, Lolo. You're the best Lola ever, and I hope you have more birthdays to come. I love you, Lolo.
All right, that's a very nice message. You were drawing something for Lola earlier. What is that?
We have lots and lots of drawings right here. We have like a Easter egg. One wait. I don't know. A moon.
A moon,
With
yes.
Sun. Comment. One.
Comet, yes.
A picture of Lolo. One more.
Wow.
Easter egg. One smile face. One dinosaur. One. Sandali lang.
Okay.
One bed.
All right.
One dinosaur. One parrot.
Okay.
And love you, Lolo.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a very nice drawing and a very nice message for Lolo.
Happy birthday, Majesty. Now the beer is away. Now it's in way. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Lord. Happy birthday to you. We love you, Yo-Yo.
Happy birthday, darling. I love you so much.
Happy birthday, Ty. I love you.
Happy birthday, Ty. We love you.
Love you.
Happy birthday, Lolo. Happy birthday, Lolo. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Lolo. We love you, Lolo. Happy birthday, we love you.
Hi, Kuya Ike. Happy birthday. Although you are far away from us, you are always in our hearts. I'm sure if Pipin is still here, he will be very, very happy to see you celebrating your 90th birthday. Our wish is for you to have more birthdays to come. God bless. Happy birthday again.
Happy birthday, Tito Vicky. I hope you're enjoying your day and that we hope to see you soon. We miss you and we love you. Happy birthday.
Hello again, Uncle Dick. Happy birthday po ulit. And would just like to introduce to you your apo and my wife, si Feli. So this is Feli, this is Isai, this is JJ, and this is Pixel, the the firstborn. So what do you have something to say to Lolo?
Happy birthday, Lolo.
Happy birthday, JJ.
Happy birthday po.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Lolo. We love you so much. God bless.
Happy birthday. We love you. Happy birthday. Gayus. So, ito yung family ko. So, this is my youngest, si Lexi. My wife, Roma, and my eldest, Jen. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ninong. Happy birthday, Lolo.
Hi, Uncle Dick. Happy birthday po. We're here. We're actually gathered ngayon to celebrate your birthday. So, ito po si Tatay. Kilala niyo pa, right? Happy birthday, Dick. Si Reyes po. Happy birthday. Uncle, sobrang tipid nila, di ba? Sa salita. Pero happy birthday po. Please take care of your health. And we love you and we miss you already. Happy birthday.
Lolo. Ready, get set, go!
Happy birthday, Lolo!
She's out! Someone's cheating here!
Flexi won! Yay!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. We love you.
Hi, Koy. Happy birthday. I wish you good health always, and may you have more birthdays to come. Enjoy your day. God bless.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Kuya King. I wish you to count your life by smiles, not tears, and your age by friends and not tears. Happy birthday, Kuya King.
Happy birthday, Kuya King! Heard the latest news? The world is rejoicing. The birds are singing, and people are lining up to say, Happy birthday, Kuya King. God bless po.
Happy birthday po.
Happy birthday.
Cheers. We love you.